Lovely viewers, imagine this. The air inside the Grand Hotel ballroom is thick with expectation. Rows of journalists sit shoulder to shoulder, their pens poised above notepads, cameras ready to fire at the slightest change in expression. Lee Min-ho walks in, every inch the superstar, tall and magnetic in a perfectly fitted charcoal gray suit. His hair is styled to perfection, yet just loose enough to give him that effortless charm his fans adore. You can almost hear the room collectively sigh as he makes his way to the podium, greeting everyone with a small bow and that trademark half-smile that says he's calm, but inside, maybe he's holding something big. At first, everything follows the usual script. Questions about his latest project, his upcoming schedule, his approach to challenging roles. He answers with grace, his deep voice steady and warm. But then, one question changes the entire mood of the room. A reporter, clearly bolder than the rest, leans into the microphone and asks, Min-ho-sai, you've been linked with Song Hye Kyo a lot lately. What does she mean to you? For a moment, the superstar pauses. The faintest flicker of a smile curves his lips, and you can feel every person in that room leaning forward, waiting. He lets out a breath, almost like he's allowing himself to cross an invisible line between public persona and private truth. Then he says it, not in a rushed or rehearsed way, but with a slow, deliberate sincerity that makes each word land like a stone in still water. I can't imagine a life without Song Hye Kyo. The words hang there, heavy and unshakable. The photographers freeze for a split second before the room explodes with the sound of camera shutters firing off like fireworks. Reporters glance at each other in shock, some scribbling furiously, others just staring as if they can't believe what they just heard. He doesn't stop there. His voice softens, but his gaze remains steady, as though he's speaking directly to her through the lens of every camera in the room. She's not just someone I love, he continues. She's my partner, my best friend, my safe place. Every single day, I wake up thankful for her presence in my life. And I know, no matter what, I never want to be without her. Lovely viewers, the entire atmosphere changes. This isn't just a polite acknowledgement. This is a confession, a declaration, a vow. Within minutes of those words leaving his mouth, the internet is ablaze. Twitter trends are dominated by hashtags like hashtag Lee Min-ho, hashtag Song Hye Kyo, and hashtag I can't imagine life without you. Fan accounts post slow-motion videos of him saying the line, complete with romantic background music, while others flood the comments with crying emojis, heart emojis, and declarations that true love still exists. In that press room, follow-up questions start flying like arrows. When did you realize she was the one? Do you see marriage in your future? What does she think about you saying this so publicly? Min-ho laughs softly, running a hand over the back of his neck, that subtle gesture he does when he's slightly nervous but happy. I knew a long time ago, he says simply, and though he doesn't elaborate, his smile says it all. While the official event moves on, the real magic happens online. Fans dig through past interviews, red carpet photos, and candid paparazzi shots, piecing together a love story that has been unfolding quietly for months, maybe even years. Some point to the time they were spotted leaving the same restaurant just minutes apart, others to that award ceremony where their hands brushed ever so briefly. The theories multiply, the edits get more elaborate, and the shipping culture hits fever pitch. Meanwhile, Song Hye Kyo stays silent, at least officially. But late that evening, sharp-eyed fans notice she posts a simple black and white photo to Instagram. 2 cups of coffee on a wooden table, side by side, with 2 spoons resting neatly beside them. The caption, just a single heart emoji. To outsiders it might seem meaningless, but to her loyal fans, it's practically a love letter. The spoons represent the 2 of them. The coffee cups, their shared moments. And for those who remember, it's the same cafe where they were spotted months ago, sitting by the window and laughing like they were in their own world. The next morning, the story gets even better. Paparazzi photos emerge showing Lee Min-ho leaving her house early in the day. In one hand, he's holding a paper bag, the kind you'd use to carry a warm breakfast from a nearby bakery. In the other, a bouquet of white lilies, known to be her favorite flowers. It's not staged, it's not grandiose, but it's real. Fans swoon, the internet melts, and the media calls it the day Korean drama became reality. Friends close to them begin to speak, cautiously but with clear fondness. One mutual acquaintance reportedly told a magazine, "They've been each other's rock through a lot." What Min-ho said on stage wasn't a performance. That's just how he feels about her every single day. Lovely viewers, it's moments like these that remind us why we love following their journey. This isn't about glamour or drama. It's about two people who, despite the pressures of fame, seem to have found something rare and worth protecting. The way Min-ho looked when he said those words. It wasn't for the cameras. It was for her. And maybe, just maybe, this isn't the last time we'll hear him say it. Because once someone openly declares they can't imagine a life without you, it's only a matter of time before the next big announcement comes. And you and I both know what that might be. Lovely viewers, let's step right into the heart of that night. Not the red carpet glitz, not the flashing cameras, but the private, quiet reality that no press ever gets to see. Picture this. The press conference has ended, the frenzy outside is dying down, but inside a sleek, tinted van parked just out of sight, Lee Min-ho is leaning back in his seat. His manager is scrolling through the endless flood of notifications on his phone, but Min-ho isn't looking at the screen. He's looking out the window, almost lost in thought. His lips curve into the faintest smile, that same smile he had when he said the words that shook the nation. "I can't imagine a life without song Hye Kyo." He knows she's heard it by now. Even if she wasn't watching live, her phone will be blowing up. Friends, colleagues, maybe even strangers will be sending her the clip. Her name now forever tied to that confession. And Min-ho isn't worried. He wants her to know. In fact, he'd been holding those words inside for months, maybe longer, and saying them out loud felt like releasing something heavy from his chest. Meanwhile, across the city, Song Hye Kyo is at home. The soft glow of the living room lamp casts a golden warmth over the space, and on the coffee table in front of her is a mug of chamomile tea she hasn't touched. Her phone screen is lit up with message after message, some from friends teasing her, some from fans tagging her in edits of Min-ho's speech, some just screenshots of his face when he said it. At first, she laughs. A small, disbelieving laugh, the kind where you hide your face with your hand. But then she plays the video. She hears his voice, deep and certain, carrying those words like they've been etched into his soul. She watches his expression. No hesitation, no attempt to downplay it. Just honesty. And that's when her laughter softens into something quieter, warmer. She bites her lip, her eyes drifting away from the screen as she processes the weight of what he's just done. Because this wasn't just a celebrity giving a soundbite. This was Lee Min-ho, a man who guards his private life fiercely, stepping into the spotlight and staking his heart in front of millions. For her. By the time Min-ho's van pulls up to her neighborhood, the streets are hushed. The air carries that faint scent of rain, even though it hasn't fallen yet. He slips out with a paper bag in one hand, fresh croissants from her favorite late-night bakery, and in the other a bouquet of white lilies, their petals so crisp and perfect they look almost unreal in the dim light. When she opens the door, she doesn't even try to hide her smile. "You're supposed to be resting after all that," she teases softly, but her eyes are already fixed on the flowers. He steps inside, the quiet between them warm rather than awkward. The first thing he does is hand her the bouquet, his fingers brushing against hers, lingering just a moment longer than necessary. "I meant every word," he says quietly. No cameras now, no press, just them. She sets the flowers gently on the table, turning back to look at him. "I know," she replies, her voice just as soft. And that's when the silence between them becomes something almost tangible, like the air itself is humming. They settle onto the couch, the croissants still warm in the bag between them. For a while they just talk. Not about work, not about the headlines, but about little things. The silly meme she saw earlier. The way his hair wouldn't stay in place today. The dream she had last night that didn't make any sense. It's easy, effortless. The kind of conversation you can only have with someone who feels like home. At some point, he reaches for her hand. She lets him take it without hesitation, their fingers intertwining naturally. "You know," he says, "I've said a lot of lines in my career. But today, that wasn't a line. That was my truth." Her heart stutters just a little, and she squeezes his hand. "I know," she says again, but this time her eyes are glistening. She doesn't cry, not yet, but there's something unspoken in the air, a mutual understanding that they've crossed into deeper territory tonight. Later, as the night stretches on, they find themselves in the kitchen. He's insisting on making her a cup of hot chocolate, and she's teasing him about how he always adds too much cocoa powder. He pretends to be offended, and she laughs, that rich, melodic laugh he secretly lives for. And as she sits on the counter watching him stir the drink, she catches herself thinking about his words again. "I can't imagine a life without Song Hye Kyo." By the time they're curled up on the couch again, mugs in hand, the city outside is asleep. The only light comes from the small lamp in the corner, casting a gentle glow over them. She leans her head on his shoulder, and without even thinking, he kisses the top of her hair. No declarations now, no grand speeches, just the steady beat of two hearts in sync. And maybe that's the real magic of the moment. Not the public confession, not the viral clips, but this quiet certainty they both feel when the world isn't watching. Lovely viewers, maybe you're feeling it too, that this isn't just a fleeting romance. This is the kind of bond that grows deeper every day, the kind that survives the noise of fame and the glare of the spotlight. And if tonight is any indication, we're only at the beginning of a love story that's going to keep unfolding in ways we can't stop watching. Lovely viewers, let's fast forward just a little, to a night that's going to be etched in the minds of fans for years to come. The confession had already shaken the internet, but what came next? Oh, that was the part nobody was ready for. It's been 2 weeks since Lee Min-ho stood under the bright lights and declared, "I can't imagine a life without Song Hye Kyo." In that time, the buzz hasn't died down. If anything, it's grown louder. Edits, fan-made trailers, slow-motion clips of him saying it have racked up millions of views. Paparazzi have been on high alert, waiting for the first real joint public sighting. And then, without warning, the invitation drops. An exclusive charity gala, the kind attended by royalty, industry titans, and Korea's most influential figures. The guest list is tight, security is intense, and the dress code is pure elegance. No one expects both Min-ho and Hye Kyo to appear together. It would be too obvious, too bold. But then the whispers start. A staff member swears they saw them arrive in the same car. A makeup artist backstage lets slip that she caught a glimpse of them holding hands before stepping out. Inside the grand ballroom, chandeliers spill golden light over the crowd. Soft strings play in the background as the city's elite mingle over champagne and murmured conversation. The photographers are lined up near the entrance, their flashes at the ready, eyes scanning for the night's headliners. And then it happens. The double doors open. The first thing people see is Min-ho, tall, devastating in a classic black tuxedo. His hair styled with that effortless precision that makes it look like he just woke up perfect. But then, the collective gasp comes when Song Hye Kyo steps into view beside him. She's wearing an ivory silk gown that flows like water. Her hair swept up with just a few delicate tendrils framing her face. On her wrist, a subtle but unmistakable diamond bracelet, the very one fans speculate was a gift from Min-ho months ago. The flashes explode. The room seems to pause. But what makes this moment unforgettable isn't just the visuals. It's what they do next. Min-ho doesn't walk ahead, doesn't let the cameras pull him away. Instead, he slows his pace, turning slightly so Hye Kyo is always right beside him. And when they reach the center of the carpet, he does something no one saw coming. He takes her hand, right there in front of the entire press line. It's not a quick touch. His fingers lace with hers, and he gives her hand the gentlest squeeze. She glances up at him with a small, almost shy smile, and for a moment, it's like they've forgotten the hundreds of cameras surrounding them. It's intimate, real, the kind of moment you can't fake. The internet erupts within minutes. Fans start captioning the photos. The confession wasn't just words. This is what love looks like. Even the reporters, usually trained to keep things objective, can't help but note in their articles how naturally they move together, like they've been sharing red carpets for years. But inside the gala, away from the chaos outside, there's another layer to the story. They're seated at a candlelit table, surrounded by high-profile guests, but they keep leaning toward each other, their conversation soft and constant. When Min Ho's speech time comes, because of course he's one of the night's featured speakers, he stands adjusting his cufflinks and casts a quick glance toward her. That same look from the press conference, full of quiet certainty, flashes across his face. Tonight, he begins, we're here to raise awareness and support for something bigger than ourselves. But I also believe life is about the people you choose to share it with. And I'm grateful more than I can say, for the person who's sitting right there. His gaze flickers toward her seat. The crowd murmurs. Cameras inside the gala catch her reaction, a slight widening of her eyes, her lips parting in surprise, and then the softest smile. When the evening winds down, they don't rush to leave. They take their time, greeting people, laughing at small jokes, sharing knowing glances that speak volumes. And when they finally do step outside, the night air is cool, carrying the faint scent of the nearby gardens. Fans waiting across the street catch sight of them heading to the car. It's subtle, but Min Ho opens the door for her first, his hand lingering at the small of her back as she steps in. Lovely viewers, by the time they drive away, the headlines are already writing themselves. This wasn't just a public appearance. This was a statement that his confession wasn't for the cameras, but a truth they're now living openly. And for those of us watching, it feels like we're witnessing the slow, beautiful unveiling of a love story that's just beginning to bloom in the public eye.